All right, we're live. Feels good to be live again. We are continuing on with our coverage of the 2024 Player's Handbook, and we are going to be continuing with the Monk. Got that thumbnail. Am I right? Alright, let's go on with the Monk. I think we've had a lot of cool changes. People have been disappointed with the Monk historically, so I'm excited to dive in to some of these changes in 2024. We get martial arts from level 1, so that is unarmed strikes and monk weapons, which are simple melee weapons. And, now also martial melee weapons that have the light property. That's nice. And you get these benefits while you are unarmed or wielding only monk weapons. And you aren't wearing armor or wielding a shield. You get a bonus unarmed strike as bonus action. That's just for free. You get your martial arts die, which is a 1d6 instead of 1d4. Got a buff there. That's nice. And then that continues to go up as you gain levels. And you use dexterity instead of strength for your attack and damage. And then in addition, this is new. When you grapple or shove, you can use dexterity instead of strength. That is a huge buff for monks. Because before that was just like you were not going to be kind of that grappler, move people around the battlefield, wrestled them to the ground type of monk, unless you put points in strength, which are already going to put points into dexterity and wisdom and constitution for your HP, so it was just all over the place. Let's see, level 1, you get unarmored defense, that's dex plus wisdom, that's the same. Level 2, you get your Monk's Focus, and that's your focus points, which used to be key points. And you get a couple of ways that you can use them. And they come back on a short or long rest. If you have to make a saving throw, it uses your Wisdom modifier to calculate that. You can expend 1 focus point to make 2 unarmed strikes as a bonus action. Again, you still get 1 for free, which is great. Patient defense, you can disengage as a bonus action. Alternatively, you can spend a focus point to disengage and dodge as a bonus action. That's really nice. The dodge, it was just dodge before, but now you can disengage and dodge, and you can just disengage for free. And Step of the Wind, you can dash as a bonus action. So all of these have, I guess you could look at it as like a free version and then a key point or focus point version. So free bonus unarmed strike, spend a point to make it 2. Free disengage, spend a focus point to also dodge. Free dash as a bonus action, spend a focus point to also disengage. And for that one, your jump distance is doubled for the turn. That's pretty cool. Pair that with a race that can jump pretty far, and also the jump spell. Man, you're a crazy jumper. Let's see, unarmored movement. You get 10 feet at level 2, and that will increase as well. Level 2, Uncanny Metabolism. When you roll initiative, you regain all of your expended focus points. That's nice. And when you do, roll your martial arts die and regain hit points. Hey! Equal to your monk level plus the number rolled. That's pretty great. And that's once per long rest. So effectively doubling the amount of focus points that you get if you are rolling initiative. You get to refresh those and gain some hit points. That's great. Level 3, you deflect attacks. If an attack roll hits you and it's bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing, then you can take a reaction to reduce the damage. That's 1d10 plus your dex modifier and monk level. And if you reduce it to 0, you spend focus points. So again, free version, focus point version. If you do so, choose a creature you can see within 5 feet of yourself if the attack was a melee attack. and a creature within 60 feet that isn't behind total cover, if it was a ranged attack, they must succeed on a dex save or take damage equal to 2 rolls of your martial arts die plus your dex modifier. And so you get to redirect those attacks. And that is a great buff. It used to just be ranged attacks. Now it's also melee attacks as well. And that's really nice. Moving right along. At level 4 you get slow fall. I don't believe that's new. You can take a reaction when you fall. Oh, to reduce any fall damage you take. Equal to 5 times your monk level. That might be the same. That's pretty close to the same, at least. At level 5, you get Stunning Strike. This has been nerfed. This was kind of a pretty heavily OP feature for the monk because you could just keep someone stun locked for a long time. Because you're making 4 attacks on your turn if they're all Stunning Strikes. You are burning your focus points, but then your party just gets to gang up on whoever you're fighting. So now it's just once per turn when you hit a creature. You expend 1 focus point to attempt a Stunning Strike. They make a Constitution save, and if they fail, they're stunned until the start of your next turn, which means they basically lose their turn. On a successful save, the target's speed is halved until the start of your next turn. So even if it fails, you still do something. That's nice. And 1 attack roll is made with advantage against them rather than all of them because of the stunned condition. At level 6, whenever you deal damage with an unarmed strike, it can deal your choice of force damage or its normal damage type. This is their way of getting around, like, oh, it's considered magical for overcoming resistances, but actually your fists aren't magical. So they're just like, it deals force damage. All right, force damage. At level 7, you get Evasion. It's a pretty common feature. If you make a dex save to take only half damage, you take no damage if you succeed, and only half if you fail. But only if you're not incapacitated. Nothing new there. Level 9, Acrobatic Movement. You can move along vertical surfaces and across liquids. That's cool because I believe that the name has been changed on that. It used to be called... it was a part of Unarmored Movement, but now that's kind of its own thing. And this is now Acrobatic Movement. At level 10, you get Heightened Focus. So when you do Flurry of Blows, you get 3 unarmed strikes instead of 2. When you do Patient Defense, you get temporary hit points equal to 2 rolls of your martial arts die. And when you do Step of the Wind, you can choose a willing creature within 5 feet of you that's large or smaller, and you move the creature with you until the end of your turn, and the creature's movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. That's really nice. It's kind of like these buffs to Flurry of Blows, Patient Defense, and Step of the Wind are taking what the monk already does well and just making it better compared to the 2014 version. And we're still at level 10, so the monk has a lot here. Like the monk had a lot already, but some of it kind of like fell flat, and a lot of it was just movement buffs, which, I mean, at a certain point you don't need that much movement. So this is cool. Self-restoration. You can remove one of the following conditions at the end of each of your turns: charmed, frightened, or poisoned. And in addition, foregoing food and drink doesn't give you levels of exhaustion. That's nice. That's nice. Deflect energy, that's new. It's a buff to deflect attacks, again taking what it does well and making it better. And it's any damage type now that you can deflect. That's pretty crazy. Enemy wizard casts a fireball. Psych! Oh wait, it's not an attack, but a firebolt. Psych! Sending that right back at you. Alright. Disciplined Survivor, level 14. You get proficiency in all saving throws. That was called something different, but I don't think that's changed. But this part is new. Whenever you make a saving throw and fail, you can re-roll it by using a focus point. That's nice. Level 15, Perfect Focus. When you roll initiative and don't use your uncanny metabolism, you regain expended focus points if you have 4, until you have 4 if you have 3 or fewer. So if you have 1, 2, or 3, you get bumped up to 4. Level 18, Superior Defense. Also 0 for this one. If you have 0 through 3, you get bumped up to 4 focus points. Alright, level 18, Superior Defense. At the start of your turn, you can use 3 focus points to bolster yourself against harm for 1 minute, or until you become incapacitated. During that time, you have resistance to all damage except for force damage. Wow, that's nice. If you know that a big attack is coming, then it's like, yeah, 3 focus points to have that damage with resistance. Yeah, I'll take that. Alright, Epic Boon at level 19. I'll make a video specifically for Epic Boons. Actually, I think that'll probably end up being a part of the feats. And then level 20, Body and Mind. Your Dexterity and Wisdom scores increase by 4 to a maximum of 25. So if you increase those with either one of those with an Epic Boon, then you can increase it to 25 at level 20. That's nice. That's kind of just cut and paste from the Barbarian with a little change. Instead of Strength and Con, it's Dex and Wisdom. But that is much better than it used to be, the capstone. Alright. Now we're going into the monk subclasses. First we have the Warrior of Mercy, formerly known as the Way of Mercy. You can use Hand of Harm, use a focus point when you hit with an unarmed strike to deal extra necrotic damage equal to a martial arts die in your wisdom modifier. Or you can do a Hand of Healing to expend a focus point, touch a creature, and restore hit points equal to a martial arts die plus your wisdom modifier. And then, just for Hand of Healing, when you use your Flurry of Blows, you can replace one of the unarmed strikes with the use of this feature without expending a focus point. That's nice, and that's new. You also gain proficiency in Insight and Medicine and the Herbalism Kit. I don't believe that's new, unless I'm missing something small. Level 6, when you use Hand of Harm on a creature, you can also poison them. Hand of Healing, when you heal them, you can also end one of the following conditions. I believe that is the same as well. Level 11, Flurry of Healing and Harm. When you use Flurry of Blows, you can replace each of the unarmed strikes with a use of Hand of Healing without expending extra focus points. That's nice. And when you make an unarmed strike with Flurry of Blows and deal damage, you can use Hand of Harm with that strike without expending a focus point for Hand of Harm. That's still limited to once per turn. Otherwise, that would be kind of crazy damage for the monk. You can do this number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier. And you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. And finally, level 17. You can take the magic action, touch a corpse that has died within 24 hours, use 5 focus points, it returned to life with 4d10 plus your wisdom modifier hit points, and it revives with any of those same conditions removed. And you can do that once per long rest. That's nice. Adds a little extra healing to the monk. That's solid. Not much has changed there, but I think overall buff, because the overall monk is buffed. That takes us to the Warrior of Shadow. You can expend 1 focus point to cast Darkness, and you can see within the spell's area. And while the spell persists, you can move the darkness. I think that might be new. To a space within 60 feet of yourself at the start of each of your turns. That's nice. Let's see. You gain dark vision of 60 feet or it increases by 60 feet if you already have it, and you know Minor Illusion. I believe that's all the same, except I think casting Darkness might be cheaper. And I'm not sure if you could see through it before, which is kind of an oversight that has now been remedied, if I'm correct. They did take away, I think it was Pass Without Trace. That is gone from this, which is unfortunate, but hey, what are you going to do? At level 6, if you're in dim light or darkness, you can use a bonus action to teleport 60 feet to another dim or dark place. And then you have advantage on the next melee attack you make on that turn. At level 11, that gets better. When you use Shadow Step, you can expend 1 focus point. Again, free version and focus point version. To remove the requirement that you must start and end in dim light or darkness. That's nice, because if you're fighting in the daytime, you're kind of screwed. As a part of this bonus action, you can make an unarmed strike immediately after you teleport. That's nice. Which you also get advantage on. So cool. And then level 17, as a magic action, when you're in dim light or darkness, use 3 focus points. You are shrouded in shadow for 1 minute, which means you are invisible. You are incorporeal, which means you can move through occupied spaces as if they're difficult terrain, which means it costs 2 feet of movement per 1 foot that you move. And then Shadow Flurry. You can use Flurry of Blows without expending any focus points. That's pretty nice. I do like that. So, RIP to Pass Without Trace. Otherwise, I feel like definite buffs to the Shadow Monk. Next is the Warrior of the Elements. We get Elemental Attunement, which, by the way, I'm so excited for this. I did a homebrew version of the Monk, and a lot of that actually is what ended up becoming the 2024 version of the Monk. Or the Warrior of the Elements Monk. And so, a lot of the things that I had baked into that homebrew subclass showed up in this book, and it's just, oh man, I'm so excited. I'm happy. You can finally live your avatar dreams. It's great. But let's dive into it. At the start of your turn, spend a focus point to imbue yourself with elemental energy that lasts for 10 minutes. And you gain the following benefits. When you make an unarmed strike, it's 10 feet greater than normal. And whenever you hit with an unarmed strike, you can cause it to deal acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder, rather than its normal damage type. And when you do this, you can also force them to make a strength save, and you can move the target up to 10 feet toward or away from you as elemental energy swirls around it. You also learn the Elementalism spell, which is the replacement of control flames, shape water, gust, and move earth. It's just a simplification, so now if you want to do elemental stuff, you just need the 1 spell. It's great. I will dive into that a little more. If I end up making a spells video, let me know if you want me to, and I can make it happen. At level 6, as a magic action, spend 2 focus points, and you create a burst in a 20-foot radius sphere, centered on a point within 120 feet of yourself, and it's acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder. Everyone in the sphere makes a dex save, and they take damage equal to 3 rolls of your martial arts die. So you got like a mini fireball. That's nice. Stride of the Elements also brings some much needed range to the monk, which is nice. Stride of the Elements, when your elemental attunement is active, you have a fly speed and a swim speed equal to your speed. That's nice. So much movement for the monk because you get those movement boosts as well. And then Elemental Epitome. Wow. You get damage resistance to one of the following types: when your elemental attunement is active. So you can choose. That's great. And then Acid, Cold, Fire, Lightning, Thunder. At the start of each of your turns, you can change this choice. Wow. Destructive Stride. When you step of the wind, your speed increases by 20. So that means that if you're dashing, then you get 40 speed. A boost of 40 for that turn. For that duration, any creature of your choice takes damage equal to 1 roll of your martial arts die when you enter a space within 5 feet of it. So you just can run by everyone or at this point fly by everyone and deal your martial arts die to them. And that is Acid, Cold, Fire, Lightning, Thunder. That only happens once per turn, so you can't be doing circles around someone. And then finally, Empowered Strikes. Once on each of your turns, you can deal extra damage to a target equal to 1 roll of your martial arts die. The extra damage is the same dealt by that strike. Wow. The the Warrior of the Elements monk is basically a whole new subclass. They just gutted this thing and said, screw everything that we've done up to this point. Let's just listen to the community. And that's really nice. I really appreciate that. And that brings us to the final subclass of the monk, the Warrior of the Open Hand. We get our open hand technique. When you hit a creature with an attack granted by Flurry of Blows, you can impose one of the following effects. They either can't make opportunity attacks, they are pushed 15 feet, or they are knocked prone. That's cool. I like that. Next is Wholeness of Body. You gain the ability to heal yourself. As a bonus action, roll a martial arts die. Regain hit points equal to the number rolled plus your wisdom modifier. And you can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, and they come back on a long rest. Level 11 is Fleet Step. When you take a bonus action other than Step of the Wind, you can also use Step of the Wind. That's nice. That's solid. And then level 17, Quivering Palm. You gain the ability to set up lethal vibrations in someone's body when you hit with an unarmed strike for focus points. And they last for a number of days equal to your monk level. They're harmless until you take an action to end them. Or when you take the attack action on your turn, you forego the attacks to end the vibrations. You and the target must be on the same plane. They make a con save, taking 10d12 force damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. I believe they used to just die, which this feels a lot better. You can only have one creature under this effect at a time, and you can end it harmlessly with no action required. A little bit new here with the level 11, the change to Quivering Palm. I believe Wholeness of Body is the same. Open hand technique, you get a lot of cool stuff that I'm not sure you could do before. So, general buffs here, I would say, other than Quivering Palm. But even that, the idea of just slap, you die. It doesn't really feel fun. I would definitely rather roll 10d12 damage and oh my gosh, I get to use my d12s. Everyone, d12s! Yeah, screw you, big bad. That just feels more fun. Alright, so that is the monk. And that brought us to the end of the page, which is strange. Because... Oh, okay, here we go. Character classes continued. Let's scroll down. Next, we'll be going into the Paladin. That's my Paladin thumbnail. I don't know. I have a double chin. It's fine. We're going into the Paladin now. And the Paladin is where one of the most controversial nerfs happened. If you've seen any of the D&D videos that have been put out, you know I'm talking about Divine Smite. But we'll get there. Level 1, we get Lay on Hands. I think that's earlier than usual. Unless I'm wrong. I could be. I think I'm wrong. Okay. I think so. Okay. Either way. Lay on Hands. You have a pool of healing. Comes back on a long rest. Restore number of hit points equal to 5 times your Paladin level. As a bonus action, touch a creature. Can't be yourself. Restore hit points to that creature. You can also expend 5 hit points to remove the poisoned condition from that creature. I think that's a nerf. I think it used to remove a lot more conditions, but now it's just poison. Interesting. Alright. We get spell casting. If you want me to go into spell casting, let me know. And then I'll make that into a different video, but for the sake of time and getting through all of this, I'm not going through spell casting today. You get weapon mastery. That'll also be a different video, but I am definitely making that one. Fighting style. You get as well. You get a fighting style feat, which is cool, and you get an extra choice. You can take a fighting style feat, or you can learn 2 cleric cantrips, which is nice. I've done that before on a paladin, and it is fun. I took guidance and something else. I can't remember what it was. At level 2, you get the Divine Smite smell. You get the Divine Smite spell prepared. And you can cast it without expending a spell slot. And that comes back on a long rest. So one free Divine Smite. Even the Ranger, which I'll get to later, gets a number of free uses of Hunter's Mark equal to their Wisdom modifier. The least you could have done is a number of free Divine Smites equal to your Charisma modifier, I feel like. Then again, Hunter's Mark is less damage than Divine Smite, I'm pretty sure, so I get it, but come on. Like, I think Divine Smite is the thing that you think of when you think Paladins, so I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do here with Paladin Smite, because Divine Smite takes your bonus action in order to do it. I might just say to lighten the load on bonus actions, I might say that you can do the 2014 version of the Smite, where it's still in the same way. It's like, oh, okay, you look to see if you hit, then you do Divine Smite. However, it takes your bonus action now. So I'm thinking of just saying it doesn't take your bonus action. Because I feel like that hinders you from doing other things unnecessarily. I don't know. We'll see how much bonus action stuff you actually get, and then I'll form my opinion. I was a little torn up about this at first, but as time has gone on, I've been a little less skeptical of Paladin Smite. I will click into this, even though I'm going to do potentially a spells video. Divine Smite. The target takes an extra 2d8 radiant damage from the attack. And this is a bonus action, which you immediately take after hitting a target with a melee weapon or an unarmed strike. And then the damage increases for fiends and undead. And only paladins get it anyway. So, yeah, it really depends on how much stuff takes up your bonus action for me, honestly. If there's not a lot that takes your bonus action, then fine, I get it. Like, make the paladins pick and choose between dealing the extra damage or doing other cool things. But if you have a lot of cool things that you can do with your bonus action, and your choices are, do I want to be like the powerful, tanky, like burst damage dealer, or use the rest of my class features? It's not a fun choice to make. So I might just say that this can just happen without doing the bonus action, almost like a free reaction when you are when you hit a target with a melee weapon or an unarmed strike. Which, by the way, the fact that you can do it with an unarmed strike now is really nice. I appreciate that. Alright. Level 3, you get Channel Divinity. You can use it twice. One use comes back on a short rest, and they all come back on a long rest. And you get an extra use at level 11. And you can do a Divine Sense as a bonus action. You can detect celestials, fiends, and undead. Very niche use, so not something that I'm worried about taking up a bonus action. Lasts for 10 minutes. Range of 60 feet. And you know its creature type. And you know any place that has been desecrated, as with the Hollow spell. Which, that idea of something being desecrated would be, I think, helpful if they added more text to actually define what that means. Even if they just made like a very simple, like, definition in the rules glossary, like how you can click on incapacitated here, and it links you to the rules glossary. Like, if they did the same for desecrated, that would be nice. Alright. Level 5, you get extra attack as normal. You also get Faithful Steed now, which is new. You always have Fine Steed prepared. Hey, cool, saves you a choice, you get a steed. And you can cast it once without expending a spell slot. Alright. They made a big deal in the D&D video about how this is like, oh, this is so core to who the Paladin is. But really, like, there's no features that come up about being on a mount for the Paladin, so is it really that core to the Paladin, or is Divine Smite more core to the Paladin? At level 6, you get a 10-foot radius around you. You get you and your allies get a bonus to saving throws equal to your Charisma modifier. That is not new. This part is new. If another Paladin is present, a creature can benefit from only one aura of protection at a time, which is unfortunate. You used to be able to stack those. I can see why they made that change. At level 9, you can abjure your foes. You can expend a use of Channel Divinity. Target number of creatures equal to Charisma modifier within 60 feet. They must succeed on a Wisdom save or be frightened for 1 minute or until they take damage. During this time, they can only move, take an action, or a bonus action. They have to choose. That's nice. That locks down a lot of things. I know I use a lot of monsters as a GM that can do a lot of things on their turn, and so locking down the action economy is huge. Level 10, we have Aura of Courage. You and your allies are immune to frightened. I believe the immunity is new. I feel like it was advantage before. If frightened allies enter the aura, the condition has no effect. It doesn't end the effect, but the condition has no effect, but they're immune to the frightened condition. Okay. I guess if they run in, they're still technically frightened, but the condition has no effect while they are in your radius. That text is a little bit confusing. At level 11, when you hit a target with an attack roll, that is melee or unarmed. They take an extra 1d8 radiant damage. That, I believe, is not new. Level 14, Restoring Touch. When you lay on hands, you can also remove one or more of the following conditions, and here's where they come back. Blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, paralyzed, or stunned. You expend 5 hit points from the pool, but they don't also restore hit points. So they do come back. They come back at a much higher level. I get it. I get it. I'm a little disappointed that it's such a high level, but I get it. At level 18, your aura is now 30 feet, and you get an epic boon at 19. And nothing at level 20 because I believe Paladin subclasses get something at 20. So we'll see. Here's the Paladin spell list. If you want me to do a spells video, again, let me know. Oath of Devotion is where we will pick up. Alright, you get your Oath of Devotion spells, as well as a Sacred Weapon. When you take the attack action, you can expend your Channel Divinity to imbue your melee weapon that you're holding with positive energy. Add your Charisma modifier to attack rolls that you make with that weapon. And each time you hit with it, it can deal normal damage or radiant damage. And it emits bright light in 20 feet, dim light in 20 more feet. That's really nice. I actually played a Devotion Paladin for a little while. And it was really annoying to set up Sacred Weapon because it took an action. But now it's a part of the attack action, which is really cool. At level 7, you get the Aura of Devotion. You're also immune to Charm, in addition to Frighten, when you have that or when you and your allies are in that aura. And the condition has no effect on the ally while they are there. At level 15, you get Smite of Protection. Whenever you cast Divine Smite, you and your allies have half cover while in your Aura of Protection until the start of your next turn. That's nice. I appreciate it. That's new. And level 20 is Holy Nimbus. Holy Nimbus, Batman. Imbue your Aura of Protection with Holy Power. You gain these benefits for 10 minutes until you end them. Or until you end them. And you can do that once per long rest. Or you can also do it again with a level 5 spell slot. Wow. Oh, well, you're level 20, so, okay. Holy Ward. You have advantage on any saving throw if you're forced to make it by a fiend or undead. Situational, but okay. Whenever an enemy starts its turn in your aura, that creature takes radiant damage equal to your charisma modifier plus your proficiency bonus. So probably 10 or 11 at this point. Alright, yeah. That's solid. That's nice. And the aura is filled with bright light that is sunlight. Now that's pretty cool. That sounds like it'll be good against like vampires, things with sunlight sensitivity, and magical darkness. That's pretty great. That's nice. Overall buffs. I like it. The Oath of Glory is next. You get Inspiring Smite. Immediately after you cast Divine Smite, you use your Channel Divinity and distribute temporary hit points to creatures within 30 feet of you, which can include you. The number is 2d8 plus your Paladin level, divided among the chosen creatures. That's not a lot. That's like 8 plus 3 is 11 at 3rd level. I guess at 3rd level that could help if you put it on the wizard, and it gets better as you level up. I guess. I'm not super excited about it, but it does help. Let's see. You get your Oath of Glory spells and Peerless Athlete. As a bonus action, you expend your Channel Divinity. For 1 hour, you have advantage on athletics and acrobatics checks, and the distance of your long and high jumps increase 10 feet, which cost movement as normal. That's tough. Because if you only have 30 feet of movement, and you have to run 10 feet before you do it, I mean, it does help, but it's, again, kind of an underwhelming sort of thing. Level 7, Aura of Alacrity. Your speed increases by 10 feet. That helps, right? Because even though you're jumping, you're limited by your movement speed. And whenever your ally enters the Aura of Protection for the first time on a turn or starts their turn there, your ally's speed increases by 10 feet until the end of their next turn. That's cool. That's a nice little buff. Something good. At level 15, when you are another creature you can see within 10 feet is hit by an attack roll, use a reaction, give a bonus to their AC against that attack, potentially causing it to miss. And that is equal to your Charisma modifier. If it misses, which means you succeeded, then you can make one attack with a weapon against the attacker as part of this reaction. So, sorry, unarmed strikes. That's a weird distinction to make there, I guess. As a part of this reaction if the attacker is within your weapon's range. They did so great including unarmed strikes and everything else to just not include it there. And that sucks. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your Charisma modifier. And they come back on a long rest. Another underwhelming class feature. Just for, I mean, I like it. It's that black spot of not including unarmed strikes. I feel like why exclude that? I don't get it. Especially for Oath of Glory is all about athleticism. But sorry, if you're an unarmed paladin, it doesn't work. Level 20, Living Legend. As a bonus action, you get these benefits for 10 minutes. You can use this once per long rest, or using a level 5 spell slot. I'm seeing a pattern here. Charismatic. You have advantage on charisma checks. Nice. Saving throw reroll. You can use your reaction to reroll a saving throw. Any saving throw within those 10 minutes. That's nice. I do like that. That's probably the best thing from this subclass so far, honestly. And then Unerring Strike. Once on each of your turns when you make an attack roll with the weapon again and miss, you can cause that attack to hit instead. Why the distinction against unarmed strikes? I don't get it. Man, I'm disappointed by the subclass. I was disappointed with the previous version. I'm disappointed again. I'm not going to play this subclass. I don't think so. I don't know. There are some cool abilities. It just that most of them are underwhelming or have a caveat against unarmed strikes. I don't know. That's just me. Let me know what you think. Oath of the Ancients is next. They get Nature's Wrath. As a magic action, you can use your Channel Divinity. You conjure vines. Creatures of your choice within 15 feet make a strength save, or they are restrained for 1 minute. And they can repeat the save at the end of each of its turns. That's nice. That's thematic. I like it. You get your Oath of the Ancient spells. You get an Aura of Warding. You and your allies have resistance to necrotic, psychic, and radiant damage within your Aura of Protection. That's nice. I like that. Level 15 Undying Sentinel. When you reduce to 0 hit points and not killed outright, you can go to 1 hit point instead. I believe that's the same. But now this is new. You also regain a number of hit points equal to 3 times your Paladin level. I like that a lot. Once you use this feature, you need a long rest to get it back. And you can't be aged magically, and you cease visibly aging. That's cool. And then level 20. Notice how this subclass is like much better than the Oath of Glory, and it requires so many less words to do it. As a bonus action, your Aura Protection grants the below benefits for 1 minute, or until you end them. Once per long rest, but you can also use the level 5 spell slot. Enemies in your aura have disadvantage on saving throws against your spells and channel divinities. You're probably not doing a ton of spells, but hey, you know, it's possible you have +5 to your charisma at this point. At the start of each of your turns, you regain 10 hit points. That's nice. And swift spells, whenever you cast a spell that has a casting time of an action, you can do a bonus action instead. I like that. That's nice. Now that is something that conflicts with the bonus action Divine Smite. That is something worthwhile. That it's like, oh man, now I have to choose between Divine Smite spell or a different spell that because of Elder Champion I get to do as a bonus action. But so far that's the only thing I've seen that hinders me from really leaning into or leaning away from Divine Smite as a bonus action. So far, I feel like it's working. It's passable. And then finally, that brings us to the Oath of Vengeance. You get your Oath of Vengeance. Smells. Why do I keep doing that? Oh my gosh. Your Oath of Vengeance spells. You get your Vow of Enmity, which is a well-loved feature. Let's see how it goes. When you take the attack action, it used to be a bonus action, so now it's part of the attack action. That's one that I was worried about. Use your Channel Divinity against one creature. You have advantage against them for 1 minute. If they drop to 0 hit points, you can transfer it to another creature. Not sure if that was in the older version, but I like this. I do like this. And it frees up the bonus action for Divine Smite. I get it. I see what they did now. Next is the Relentless Avenger at level 7. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attacks, spelling, you can reduce the creature's speed to 0 until the end of the current turn. That's nice. That's like a free polearm master without needing a polearm. Then you can move up to half your speed as a part of the same reaction. This movement does not provoke opportunity attacks. That's interesting. So, if they're trying to get away from you... Okay, I'm seeing it. They're trying to... Let's say they're trying to get away from the Paladin to get to the Wizard. You take an opportunity attack. Sorry, you can't move. Now, I'm going to move to get in between you and the Wizard. I guess that makes sense. But at first glance, it doesn't, because it's like, stay here, I'm leaving. But hey, free movement is free movement. Level 15, you get Soul of Vengeance. If the creature under your Vow of Enmity hits or misses with an attack roll, you can take a reaction to attack them. Cool. And level 20, Avenging Angel. As a bonus action, get these benefits for 10 minutes, once per long rest, or use a level 5 spell slot. You can fly 60 feet and can hover. That's nice. And whenever an enemy is in your aura, they need to succeed on a wisdom save or be frightened for 1 minute or until it takes damage. and attack rolls against that creature have advantage. That's nice. Buffs there, I believe. And it frees up the bonus action. Overall, now that I'm going through it, the bonus action wording for the Paladin, Divine Smite, I get it. And that might be like a hot take, but I'm not mad at it. They moved a lot of the bonus action options, other than like the level 20 capstone features, to free up the bonus action. So, is it ideal? No. Am I mad? Also, no. So that's where I'm landing on that. But next up is going to be the Ranger. All right, let's see. Let's come up with a thumbnail for this. Let's see. Do we do like a yeah, that works. It's like an animal, I guess, sort of thing. I don't know. Come on, guys, help me out here. Ranger. The Ranger actually got a lot of buffs. Just doesn't feel like it, because we got a lot of them previously in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. So I think it's important to remember that when they are talking about releasing like a brand new Ranger, I do agree that's definitely an overstatement to say that it's brand new compared to 2014. But also comparing it to 2014, there's a lot of great changes. I'm not going to go through spellcasting. If you want it in a different video, let me know. Otherwise, the spells, I don't really want to get into it. There's so many spells. Oh my gosh. All right. Level 1, favorite enemy. You have Hunter's Mark, always prepared, and you can cast it twice without expending a spell slot. And the number of times you can cast a spell increases when you reach certain Ranger levels. I think I said in a previous video that it was... Oh yeah, it was for the Paladin video that it was Wisdom modifier, but no, it's not. It just increases with your Ranger levels. So there's also been some Hunter's Mark sort of controversy similar to the Divine Smite. I've been testing out a Ranger recently with the new rules, and I don't hate it. You get 2 free Hunter's Mark spells. I'm not mad about it. That could be a hot take, but I don't know. Any downside of that is balanced out with Weapon Mastery, which I'll do a segment on in a different video. Really love Weapon Mastery. Deft Explorer, you get 1 expertise, and you get 2 languages. That's nice. I like the addition of languages, being able to mix it up a little bit. You gain a fighting style feat, and you can also choose Druidic Warrior to get 2 Druid cantrips instead of your typical fighter fighting style feats. Let's see. You get extra attack as normal. You get Roving, which I believe was a Tasha's edition. A lot of these things that I'm touching on are Tasha's editions. Your speed increases by 10. You get a climb speed and a swim speed. That's nice. Level 9, you get 2 more expertise. That's cool. Level 10, Primal Forward, granting you the following benefits. As a magic action, you can give yourself temporary hit points equal to 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier. And you can do that a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier per long rest. That's not super helpful, but it's like after you use them, you can re-up them. Probably not in combat. You have better things to do with your action in combat. And then decrease exhaustion. This is nice. Whenever you finish a short rest, decrease your exhaustion by 1, as opposed to a long rest. So you can do a bunch of short rests in a row and decrease your exhaustion, because that's what rangers are good at, is survival. So at level 13, taking damage can't break your concentration on Hunter's Mark. Cool. Another Hunter's Mark buff. It's not like incredible, but hey, it's solid. And it's a spell that is pretty bread and butter to rangers. Level 14, bonus action to turn invisible until the end of your next turn. Number of times per long rest equal to your wisdom modifier. That's cool. I like it. The previous version was that you cover yourself in mud and stay incredibly still. So this is definitely a buff. Level 17, you have advantage on attack rolls against the creature marked by Hunter's Mark. Again, kinda bland, but solid. Like, yeah, I will take advantage. I will take free concentration. Yeah. No arguments here. Level 18, you gain blind sight, which is pretty cool. I like that. And then epic boon at level 19. I'll cover those in a different video. And then at level 20, your Hunter's Mark becomes a D10. Not an exciting capstone at all. But hey, I'll take it. It's not bad, it's just not exciting as a capstone. These are the ranger spells. If you want me to do a spells video, let me know. Otherwise, I'm skipping it. Alright, subclasses for the ranger. We have, at level 3, our primal companion. And you choose one of the stat blocks, beast of the land, sea, or sky. And they act on your turn. And you use a bonus action to command it, again, which is a Tasha's change from the action in 2014. That's now made it into this book. If the beast has died within the last hour, you can take a magic action to touch it and expend a spell slot, and it returns to life in a minute with all of its hit points restored. I do like that a lot. I think in previous books you kind of just had to find another beast, and that just felt bad because like you want to form a connection with this creature over the course of your campaign. So I like this much better. However, if you do want to switch, when you finish a long rest, you can summon a different primal beast. If you already have a beast from this feature, the old one vanishes. And then here are the stat blocks: beast of the land, beast of the sea, beast of the sky. Let me just look at these real quick. I was going to skip them. Beast of the land gets a climb speed, sea gets swim speed, sky gets fly speed. Makes sense. Let's see. The beast of the land adds your proficiency bonus to any ability check or saving throw it makes. Beast of the sea can breathe water. Ooh, surprise. And they all get primal bond, it looks like. And they all get some sort of strike. This one also gets to knock creatures prone. This one gets to grapple creatures. Beast of the Sky doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. So that's nice. I do like the idea of the Beast of the Sky swooping in, taking the help action, and then flying away without opportunity attacks. That's something that I used to do with my Owl Familiar back when I played a wizard. So that could be cool. They all get Dark Vision. Beast of the Sea more than the others. Alright. And then you can flavor it however you want. I'm not surprised. But that is easier, I think, than going through all of the creatures and saying, like, oh, these are the requirements. With druids, I get it. Like, you want to take a lot of options. But with this, it's like, yeah, just give me something and I'll flavor it however I want. Level 7, take a bonus action. When you take a bonus action to command your primal companion to take an action, you can also command it to take the dash, disengage, dodge, or help action using its bonus action. So then that way it could help as a bonus action and attack. That's nice. In addition, whenever it hits with an attack roll and deals damage, it can deal your choice of force or normal damage. At level 11, it basically gets extra attack. And the first time each turn it hits a creature under the effect of your Hunter's Mark, it deals extra force damage equal to the bonus damage of that spell. So that's cool. It gets to benefit from your Hunter's Mark. I'm feeling like I would play this. Yeah. When you cast a spell targeting yourself, you also affect your beast. If it's within 30 feet of you, that's nice. I don't think it's new though, but that's nice. Fey Wanderer. You get Dreadful Strikes at level 3, dealing 1d4 extra psychic damage. Once per... my target can only take this extra damage once per turn. So if you're attacking multiple targets, they can each take it. So that's kind of cool. I feel like that's a buff. The extra damage increases to 1d6 at level 11. Cool. Extra damage is extra damage. You get your Fey Wanderer spells. You get some extra flavor here. You get Otherworldly Glamour. When you make a charisma check, you add your wisdom modifier as well. You also gain proficiency in deception, performance, or persuasion. I believe that's the same as it was before. You have advantage at level 7 on saving throws to avoid or end charmed and frightened. And whenever you or a creature succeeds on a saving throw against charmed or frightened, you can take a reaction to force a different creature within 120 feet to make a wisdom save against your spell DC. So I feel like this would be a good use for like a Shillelagh Ranger so that you can boost your wisdom. To also get your spell save DC up. And they are charmed or frightened for 1 minute, ending the effect on self on a success. Oh, yeah, especially since you get a buff to your wisdom modifier anyway. Or a buff to charisma, giving your wisdom modifier. For sure. For sure. Okay, then you get Fey Reinforcements. You cast Summon Fey without a material component. You can also cast it once without a spell slot. And you regain the ability to cast it after a long rest. And whenever you start casting the spell, you can make it so it doesn't require concentration. But the spell's duration becomes 1 minute for that casting. Rather than one action, I believe. Maybe. Let's open that up and see. Okay. Instead of 1 hour, it lasts for 1 minute. So it's like, use the 1 hour version for out of combat, or the 1 minute version for in combat. Level 15, we get Misty Wanderer. You can cast Misty Step for free, a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. And you can do that many times per long rest. Additionally, you can bring a creature with you if they're within 5 feet of you. Cool. Solid. I would play that. That would be my Shillelagh Ranger. Early lean into wisdom. Alright, next is Gloomstalker. This is another beloved subclass. We get Dread Ambusher at level 3. At the start of your first turn of each combat, your speed increases by 10 feet until the end of that turn. Don't think that's new. When you attack a creature and hit it with a weapon, you can deal an extra 2d6 psychic damage once per turn, a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier per long rest. That's nice. That's buffed. I like that. That might actually be new altogether. And then you get an initiative bonus when you roll initiative. Add your wisdom modifier. That's not new, but I like that it's back. You get your Gloom Stalker spells. You get Umbral Sight, which is dark vision 60 feet out, or an increase by 60 feet if you already have it. If you are entirely in darkness, you are invisible to any creature that relies on dark vision. That's nice. I like it. Not new, but I like it. Level 7, proficiency in wisdom saves. If you already have it, you get intelligence or charisma instead. Not new. Level 11 is Stalker's Flurry. The psychic damage of your Dreadful Strike becomes 2d8. What was it before? Was it 1d8? 2d6. And it becomes 2d8. Okay, alright. Small bump. We'll take it. When you use your Dreadful Strike, you get one of the following effects. You can make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature within 5 feet of the original target. It used to be that if you miss, that you can make an extra attack. But I'm not mad about this. You just need another target that's close by. A little more niche, but it's okay. It was kind of overpowered before. Mass Fear is the other one. The target and every creature within 10 feet needs to make a wisdom save or be frightened until the start of your next turn. And then at level 15 we get Shadowy Dodge. When a creature makes an attack roll against you, you can use a reaction to impose disadvantage. And whether it hits or misses, you can teleport 30 feet. I think the teleportation part is new. That's cool. General rebalancing, I'd say. Some features are better, some features less so. I'd say net neutral, leaning towards slightly positive for the Gloomstalker. And then finally, that brings us to the Hunter. Level 3, we get Hunter's Lore. When a creature is marked by Hunter's Mark, you learn about any immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities that they have. I like that. That brings out the metagamer in me a little bit and gives me a legitimate reason to do that. And then when you finish a short or long rest, you get one of these two options. When you hit a creature with a weapon, it deals an extra 1d8 damage if it's missing any HP. And you can do that once per turn. Nice. Solid buff. That's pretty much an overall damage buff. Other than if it's at full HP, which it won't be for long. And secondly, Hordebreaker. Once per turn, when you make an attack, you can make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature within 5 feet of the original target that you haven't attacked on this turn. I think that used to be a higher level feature that said you can attack any number of creatures, but now it's just once per turn you get an additional attack. Okay, so choose extra damage or extra attack, basically. At level 7, you get another choice, which you can change on a short or long rest. Either opportunity attacks have disadvantage against you, or if you get hit with an attack, that creature has disadvantage on any subsequent attacks. Level 11, we get another Hunter's Mark buff. When you deal damage by a creature marked by your Hunter's Mark, you can also deal that spell's extra damage to a different creature you can see within 30 feet of the first creature. Cool. Bland, but hey, it's something. Level 15, when you take damage, you can take a reaction to give yourself resistance to that damage and any other damage of the same type until the end of the current turn. That's not great. I mean, I guess. Hunter, I don't know. It starts off strong. I really like level 3 Hunter. Getting to know extra information about the creature and then choosing extra damage or extra attack. This might be where I'm multi-class. If I was playing a Hunter, I might go into Rogue after that or something. I don't know. And speaking of Rogue, that's what we're going to talk about next. Alright. Sneaky Rogue time. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, you don't see me. Oh, sneaky Rogue. That's our thumbnail. It'll have to work. I feel like I'm getting more lazy with these thumbnails as time goes on. All right. Rogues. Let's see what they did to you. Level 1, expertise. Level 6, you get 2 more expertise. That's not new. Level 1, you get sneak attack. I don't think any of that has changed. Skimming through. Level 1, you get Thieves' Cant. You also get another language of your choice. That's new. And you get Weapon Mastery. I love Weapon Mastery. I'll make it. I'll go through the Weapon Masteries in a different video. At level 2, you can dash, disengage, or hide as a bonus action. Not new. Level 3, you get the Tasha's feature, Steady Aim, to give yourself advantage on your next attack roll this turn, so that you can use your sneak attack. You can only use it if you haven't moved, and after you use it, your speed is 0. At level 5, you get Cunning Strike. When you deal sneak attack damage, you add one of the following effects. It has a die cost. Each effect has a die cost, and that lowers your sneak attack damage, but you get the extra effects. I do like trading damage for extra effects depending on the situation. You remove the die before rolling, so you can't be like, oh, this is a 1, let me remove that one. And the effect occurs immediately after the attack's damage is dealt. If it requires a saving throw, you use Dexterity. Your options at this level are Poison. So you reduce by 1d6. Can you do multiple? Oh yeah, no, just 1. So for 1d6 less damage, the target makes a con save, or be poisoned for 1 minute, and it can repeat the save. But to use this effect, you must have a Poisoner's Kit on your person. Do they get the Poisoner's Kit? Starting equipment. No. They don't get a Poisoner's Kit. So you have to go and buy a Poisoner's Kit if you want to use that. Which, if you take the starting equipment, you have 8 gold left over. Let's see what the Poisoner's Kit costs. 50 gold pieces. So if you don't take any equipment, then you can spend half of your money to get the Poisoner's Kit so that you can use this ability. That sucks. I'll say it. That sucks. I don't like that. Nah. That sucks. Moving on. 1d6 to trip, dex save, or they're knocked prone, or withdraw. You can move half your speed without provoking opportunity attacks. You could probably just disengage and move anyway, so I don't know about that. Trip is probably the only one that I would consider using unless I was really pressed for action economy and I wanted to withdraw. Would not use poison really unless I could save up enough money and had enough that it's like, oh, I bought everything I need. I have 50 gold left over. Okay, let me buy a Poisoner's Kit so I can use this. But that sucks. At level 5, you need 50 spare gold to just throw for a Poisoner's Kit. Okay, I guess. Just hope your GM is nice about giving out gold. I guess. Level 5, Uncanny Dodge. If you're hit with an attack roll, take a reaction to have the attack's damage against you. That's not new. Evasion, not new. Reliable Talent is at level 7 instead of level 11. That's nice. I like that for some of my skill builds, which I'll undoubtedly be releasing at some point. And also works for tool proficiencies, so that's nice as well. That's a solid buff. The d20 roll of if it's 9 or lower, you treat it as 10. At level 11, you can do 2 Cunning Strikes. Okay. At level 14, you get more Cunning Strike options. You can Daze. Target must succeed on a con save. On its next turn, it can only move or take an action or a bonus action. That's good. I do like that. I like that. For 6d6, you can knock out, succeed on a con save, or it's unconscious. If you're not trying to kill it, I guess that's good. That's situational, but I would use that. The unconscious target repeats the save at the end of its turn, ending the effect on itself on its... Okay. Well, that line just undid what I just said, because I feel like I would use it for role-playing use. Like, oh, I'm going to knock you unconscious so that we can drag you to an unknown location and interrogate you. But if you get to repeat the save every 6 seconds, then maybe not. Maybe not. The last one is Obscure. They make a dex save or they're blinded. Okay, that could be useful, I guess. Daze, definitely the best. And it costs the least. I think, yeah. Then Obscure, then Knockout. Level 15, Slippery Mind. You gain proficiency in Wisdom and Charisma saves. I believe it was just Wisdom before, so the addition is nice. Level 18 is Elusive. No attack roll can have advantage against you unless you're incapacitated. Don't think that's new. Level 19, Epic Boon, I'll talk about in a different video. Level 20, Stroke of Luck. If you fail a roll, you can turn the roll into a 20. And you get it back on a short or a long rest. I think it was just long rest before, so it's technically an improvement. Alright. Disappointed about that sneak attack stuff, honestly. Alright. Rogue subclasses, Arcane Trickster. I believe the restrictions were lifted on the schools of magic that you need to choose from, so a lot opened up for the Arcane Trickster. Or Arcane? Yeah, Arcane Trickster. Trickster. That's... I don't know what's going on with me tonight. But the Arcane Trickster gets access to a lot more wizard spells now. If you want me to talk about spells, let me know. It would be a different video. Alright. Level 3. When you cast Mage Hand, you can cast it as a bonus action, which is nice. I can't remember if that was that way before or not. And you can make the hand invisible. I believe that was that way before. You can control the hand as a bonus action, and through it you can make sleight of hand checks. I believe they took out the part about using thieves' tools. Interesting. Huh. Unless Thieves' Tools are now under Sleight of Hand checks. Let me click into that. Sleight of Hand. No. Let's look at Thieves' Tools. Yeah. You can no longer disarm traps out of range as an arcane trickster. That's trickster. I did it again. Ha! That's unfortunate. I don't like that. That's sad. Alright. If you're invisible when you cast a spell on a creature, it has disadvantage on any saving throw it makes against the spell on the same turn. Versatile Trickster. You can distract targets with Mage Hand. When you use the trip option of your Cunning Strike on a creature, you can also use that option on another creature within 5 feet of the hand. That's nice. I did like trip. Let's say level 13. This feature used to give advantage if you were attacking a creature within range of the hand, so I don't know. Still good, but maybe not as good. Maybe they're balancing out because they opened up so many options with the spells. That has to be the reason. It has to be. Level 17 is Spell Thief. If someone casts a spell that targets you or you're in the area of effect, use your reaction. They make an intelligence save against your spell save DC, which is maybe not great. Historically, I feel like rogues that are arcane tricksters don't have like maxed out intelligence, but I don't know. There's just a lot of great options for rogues, and so maxing out your intelligence can be tough, at least in my experience. On a failed save, you negate the spell's effect against you and steal the knowledge of the spell if it's at least level 1 and of a level you can cast. It doesn't need to be a wizard spell. That's nice. For the next 8 hours, you have the spell prepared. The creature can't cast it for those 8 hours. And once you seal a spell, you can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest. I feel like this is still kind of like a niche use. And you can only cast up to, what, level 4 spells, I believe? Yeah. So, not a ton of incredible options. Man. My boy, the Arcane Trickster. They made it so flexible, but made it less powerful, I would say. That's the trade-off. Darn. Alright, so the Assassin Rogue. After we get through these, I'm probably going to take a break here in just a minute. And just rest my voice, use the bathroom, stuff like that. At level 3, Assassinates. There have been buffs to this, so I'm excited about the Assassin. At level 3, you get advantage on initiative rolls. And during the first round of each combat, you have advantage against creatures that haven't taken a turn. And if your sneak attack hits during that round, it takes extra damage of the weapon's type equal to your rogue level. That's cool. So it's not an automatic crit, but that was pretty powerful. I think I'm okay with this trade-off. We'll see. Instant crits are, I don't know. There was a lot of shenanigans that would happen if you max out your damage and your initiative, but I like this. It's solid so far, I would say. You gain a Disguise Kit and a Poisoner's Kit, and you have proficiency with them. Hey, so cool. If you're playing an Assassin, then you might actually use the Poison feature of the Sneak Attack trade-off, whatever it's called, Cunning Strike. Alright. Exclusively good for Assassin Rogues, everyone. Great. Fun. Level 9, Infiltration Expertise. You are an expert at these things. You can mimic another person's speech. Not a creature, a person now. I think it was creature before. But also now it's speech, handwriting, or both. But you have to spend an hour studying them. That's unfortunate. That's a long time. You have to be super intentional about that. And then roving aim, your speed isn't reduced to 0 by using steady aim. That's nice. I do like that. That makes the assassin a lot better. You can just give yourself advantage and still move. That does help. When you use the poison option of your cunning strike, the target also takes 2d6 poison damage whenever it fails a saving throw. And this damage ignores its resistance to poison damage, which is one of the most resisted, or I think it is the most resisted damage type among monsters in D&D. Loving these improvements to the assassin. The final feature is Death Strike. When you hit with sneak attack on the first round of combat, target must succeed on a con save, or the attack's damage is doubled. With that wording, if it crits, it's doubled and then doubled again. Oh, well, the way that crits work now is a little bit different. You roll double the amount of dice rather than doubling the number on the dice. So that way crits maybe feel a little bit stronger. So doubling the damage is really nice here. That is a very assassin feeling sort of feature. Alright, and that brings us to the Soul Knife. You get your psionic power. Starts as a d6, goes up to d12. Alright, you regain 1 die when you finish a short rest, or all of them on a long rest. If you fail an ability check using a skill or tool that you are proficient with, you can roll a psionic energy die to add to the check, turning a failure into a success. And the die is only expended if the roll succeeds. I appreciate that. I don't like using my features on things that fail. Alright, Psychic Whispers. As a magic action, choose one or more creatures you can see up to your proficiency bonus. Roll a psionic energy die. For that many number of hours, you can speak telepathically with each other. No action required. Within 1 mile of each other. And a creature can end that connection at any time. The first use is free. Any other time, you expend the die. Level 3, you get Psychic Blades. Whenever you take the attack action or make an opportunity attack, which wasn't listed last time, so this is a nice buff. You can manifest a Psychic Blade in your free hand and attack with that blade. And it has the abilities here, as well as the mastery for it. The blade vanishes immediately after it hits or misses a target and leaves no mark if it deals damage. Oh, and for this mastery, it doesn't count against the number of properties you can use with Weapon Mastery, so you automatically get it. That's great. Love that. I was a little worried about that for a second. After you attack with this blade on your turn, you can make a melee or range attack with a second blade as a bonus action. If you have a free hand to create it, damage out of this one is 1d4 instead of 1d6. At level 9, you get Honing Strikes. If you miss with your attack with the Psychic Blade, roll an energy die. If it causes the attack to hit, the die is expended. Again, love that it's not expended on a miss. As a bonus action, you manifest a Psychic Blade, use a Psionic Energy die, throw the blade. It goes a number of feet away, equal to 10 times the number rolled, so minimum 10, maximum 60. And then you teleport to that space and the blade vanishes. A little bit of a gamble, not sure I like that, but hey, still beneficial. Next is the Psychic Veil. As a magic action, you are invisible for 1 hour or until you dismiss the effect. It ends early if you deal damage or if you force a creature to make a saving throw. That's cool. It doesn't have the same restrictions as the invisibility spell. I like that. And you get it once per long rest for free, or you can use an energy die to do that again. And at level 17, you can Rend Mind. When you use your Psychic Blaze to deal sneak attack, you can force them to make a Wisdom save. If they fail, they are stunned for 1 minute, and they can repeat the save. You get it once for free, or you can use 3 dice to restore your use of it. So that's cool. I don't think much has changed here, but it was always a pretty solid subclass. I think the addition of the opportunity attack, and I think the invisibility here was buffed. That's nice. Some small increases, but noticeable. And that brings us to the last rogue subclass, the Thief. Alright, as a bonus action, you get Fast Hands. Make a sleight of hand check to pick a lock or disarm a trap with Thieves' Tools, or to pick a pocket. Use an object, take the utilize action, or take the magic action to use a magic item. Those are nice. Love that. Cool bonus action stuff. Lot of bonus action stuff, though, for the rogue. But that was always a problem. That's not exclusive to 2024. Okay, you get a climb speed, and your jumps use dexterity rather than strength. See, these like streamlined subclasses are really great. It's like a little bit of text that does a lot of beneficial things. That's what I like. Level 9, you get Supreme Sneak, so you get a Cunning Strike option, Stealth Attack, which costs 1d6 of your sneak attack damage. If you have the Hide Actions Invisible condition, this attack doesn't end that condition on you if you end the turn behind 3/4 cover or total cover. Okay, that's beneficial. You can maintain your hide. That is great. That is solid. I like that. That's cool. This is a Cunning Strike option worth taking. Yes, and worth using. You get them automatically, but worth using. Level 17, you use Magic Device. You can tune up to 4 magic items at once. That's nice. That's just 1 extra compared to everyone else. But hey, makes a difference. When you use a magic item property that uses charges, roll 1d6. On a 6, it doesn't expend the charge. Hey, that's cool. And you can use any spell scroll using Intelligence as your spellcasting ability. If the spell is a cantrip or a level 1 spell, you can cast it reliably. If the scroll contains a higher level spell, you make an Arcana check. Hey, good thing that you can get expertise. And DC is 10 plus the spell's level. On a successful check, you cast the spell from the scroll. On a failed check, the scroll disintegrates. Oh, that's unfortunate. But hey, you know, gotta gamble a little bit. You are a rogue. And finally, level 17, Thief's Reflexes. You are adept at laying ambushes and quickly escaping danger. You can take 2 turns during the first round of any combat. It's your normal initiative and initiative minus 10 for your second one. That, I believe, is not new, but I do like the additions here. The additions, the tweaks, I think the Thief got some benefit here. If there was any nerfs, I feel like it's not noticeable. So, next up, we're going to be talking about the Sorcerer. But before that, I'm going to take a little bit of a break, so I will be right back. All right. We are picking things up with the Sorcerer. There's probably a thumbnail in there, I think. That's the goal, at least. Let's check out what changes have come to the Sorcerer. If you want me to go through all the spells, I'll make a different spells video, just let me know. Alright, Innate Sorcery. As a bonus action, you can unleash your magical energy. Your spell save DC increases by 1 for a minute, and you have advantage on attack rolls of sorcerer spells you cast. Wow, that's kind of huge. Wow, you can use it twice per long rest. That's pretty crazy. That's like just straight buff to the sorcerer. Wow. Alright. Level 2, you get Font of Magic, which is where you get your sorcery points. You can't have more sorcery points than shown on the table. Sorry, coffee locks. And you regain your sorcery points on a long rest. You can use a spell slot to gain a number of sorcery points equal to the slot's level. And as a bonus action, you can change sorcery points into spell slots. So, and there is a level cap as well. All right. Meta Magic, level 2. We will go through the meta magic options whenever we see it. But you get those at the same level now, which is nice. Because I believe it used to come at level 3. At level 5, you get Sorceress Restoration. On a short rest, you get your sorcerer points back. But no more than half of your sorcerer level amount. So whatever your sorcerer level is, that's the cap. Or half of your sorcerer level is the cap for regaining sorcery points on a short rest. So you don't get all of them, but you get some of them. And you can do that once per long rest. At level 7, if you have no uses of innate sorcery left, you can use it by spending 2 sorcery points. That's great, because innate sorcery is awesome, and I love it. Like, I right off the bat, I feel like sorcerer is much more viable compared to other casters. And then, while that innate sorcery is active, you get another benefit. You can use 2 meta magic options on each spell that you cast. That's crazy. Level 19, you get your epic boon. Level 20, arcane apotheosis. When your innate sorcery is active, you can use 1 meta magic option on each of your turns without spending sorcery points. So not only can you use 2 different meta magics per spell, but one of them is free. That's pretty great. Okay, your meta magic options. Careful spell. When you cast a spell that forces other creatures to make a saving throw, you can protect creatures up to your charisma modifier. They automatically succeed against the throw and take no damage. That is a buff. Before, they would still take damage, and that sucked. But that is much better now. Distant spell. When you cast a spell that has a range of at least 5 feet, you double the range. Or if it's a touch spell, you can make the range 30 feet. Empowered spell. You can spend 1 sorcery point to re-roll the damage dice up a number of damage dice equal to your charisma modifier. You must use the new rolls. And you can use empowered spell even if you already use a different meta magic option during the casting of the spell. So technically you could do 3 meta magics. You get your free one, the one that costs something, and then your empowered spell. That's cool. Extended spell. When you cast a spell that has a duration of 1 minute or longer, you can spend 1 sorcery point to double the duration to a max of 24 hours. If the spell requires concentration, you have advantage to maintain that concentration. That's new, and I like it. Heightened spell. When you cast a spell that forces a creature to make a saving throw, spend 2 sorcery points to give 1 target disadvantage. I like that. That's also cheaper. I believe it was 3 sorcery points before. Quickened spell. When you cast a spell that has a casting time of an action, spend 2 sorcery points to change it to a bonus action. You can't modify a spell in this way if you've already cast a level 1 or higher spell on the current turn. Nor can you cast a level 1 or higher spell on this turn after modifying the spell in this way, because you should only be able to cast 1 leveled spell per turn. Seeking spell. If you make an attack roll for a spell and miss, 1 sorcery point, you can reroll the d20. And you can use Seeking spell even if you've already used a different meta magic option. So you can use 4, technically. You have your free one, you have your bonus one, you have your empowered spell, and your Seeking spell. That's pretty crazy. Then subtle spell. When you cast a spell, spend 1 sorcery point to do it without verbal, somatic, or material components. That's speaking, moving your arms, and requiring an object, except material components that are consumed by the spell or that have a cost specified in the spell. That's fair. Transmuted spell, which I believe came to us courtesy of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. You can use a sorcery point to change the damage of a spell from acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison, or thunder to a different type from that list. And then finally, twin spell. When you cast a spell that can be cast with a higher level spell slot to target an additional creature, spend a sorcery point to increase the spell's effective level by 1. That's a heavy nerf, because it used to just be, if you cast a spell, then you can double that spell against a different creature. This makes a lot more sense. This is a fair nerf, I would say. So, if it already has the ability to target another creature at higher levels, you can do so with sorcery points rather than upcasting the spell. Then, the Sorcerer's spell list goes on and on and on. If you want me to cover spells, let me know. That'll be a different, very lengthy video. Alright, Aberrant Sorcery. You get your psionic spells. You get telepathic speech. I think you used to be able to cast these subtly, but I don't see any text about that, so we'll see. Alright, telepathic speech. As a bonus action, choose a creature within 30 feet. You can communicate telepathically while you're within a number of miles equal to your charisma modifier. And you have to use the same language. This lasts for a number of minutes equal to your sorcerer level. And you can only use it with 1 creature at a time. Alright, level 6. When you cast any level 1 or higher spell from your Psionic Spells feature, you can cast it with spell slots or using sorcery points. If you use sorcery points, here we go. It requires no verbal or somatic components, and it requires no material components unless they are consumed by the spell or have a cost assigned to it. So I think they upped the level of that, if I'm remembering correctly. Level 6, you have resistance to psychic damage, an advantage against charm and frightened. Level 14, as a bonus action, spend a sorcery point to alter your body for 10 minutes. or more sorcery points. For each one that you spend, you gain one of the following benefits. You can get a swim speed equal to twice your speed and breathe underwater. You gain a fly speed equal to your speed and you can hover. You can see invisible creatures within 60 feet that aren't behind total cover. And, or, your choice, your body to become slimy and pliable. You can move through any space as narrow as 1 inch. And you can spend 5 feet to escape non-magical restraints or being grappled. Solid. And then level 18 is Warping Implosion. As a magic action, you can teleport to an unoccupied space within 120 feet. After you disappear, creatures within 30 feet of where you left make a strength save. On a failed save, they take 3d10 force damage, and they are pulled toward the space that you left. On a successful save, they take half as much damage, but they're not moved. Once you use this feature, it comes back on a long rest, or you can spend 5 sorcery points to do it again. Not a lot of changes here. It's kind of just as is. Any changes are very subtle and not quite noticeable. So I'd say on par with the old version, which is not actually that old. I think that one and Clockwork Sorcery came out most recently for sorcerers. So Clockwork Sorcery. You get your clockwork spells. You can also restore balance. When a creature within 60 feet of you has advantage or disadvantage, you can use a reaction to make it a normal roll. You can do that number of times equal to your charisma modifier, and they come back on a long rest. At level 6, as a magic action, you can expend 1 to 5 sorcery points. Create a ward for yourself or another creature within 30 feet. You have a number of d8s equal to the number of sorcery points spent. And when the warded creature takes damage, expend a number of those dice and reduce the damage by the total rolled on those dice. The ward lasts until you finish a long rest or until you use it again. Level 14, you get Trance of the Order as a bonus action. Attack rolls against you can't benefit from advantage. And whenever you roll a d20, anything 9 or lower becomes a 10. That's nice. I appreciate that. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest or you spend 5 sorcery points. I feel, and this could be totally wrong, but for some reason I'm remembering that just everything was a 10. But this actually sounds more accurate. Oh, I take that back. This is correct. I think this is the same as it was before. Level 18 is Clockwork Cavalcade. As a magic action, you summon spirits in a 30-foot cube. Spirits look like constructs. They're intangible, invulnerable, and they create some effects. Once per long rest, or you can use 7 sorcery points to do it again. You can heal up to 100 hit points divided among creatures that you choose within the cube. Any damaged objects entirely in the cube are repaired instantly, and every spell of level 6 or lower ends on creatures and objects within the cube. That is nice. I do like that a lot. So those 2 subclasses were pretty solid, but they were also newer. And I feel like they didn't get much change, if any. The Draconic Sorcerer is older, though, so let's see what happens. Let's see. Your hit point maximum increases by 3 and increases by 1 whenever you gain another sorcerer level. That's just equivalent to what it was before. It used to be a level 1. Let's see. Your AC is 10 plus your dexterity and charisma modifiers. That's buffed for sure. That is much better unarmored defense. You get some draconic spells, which you didn't get before, so that's appreciated. Level 6, you get elemental affinity. You get resistance to a damage type, acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison. Interesting that thunder isn't on that list. You have resistance to that damage type, and when you cast a spell that deals damage of that type, you add your charisma modifier to 1 damage roll of that spell. Interesting. At level 14, you get dragon wings. They last for 1 hour. They lasted a lot shorter last time, in the last book in 2014. For the duration, you have fly speed of 60 feet. And you can do it once per long rest, or again with 3 sorcery points. Love that. That's a great, simple buff. And at level 18, you can summon a dragon. I feel like it's disappointing that you don't turn into a dragon, but hey, you get a dragon pal. You can cast it once without a spell slot, and you don't need material components for it. Whenever you start the casting of the spell, you can make it so it doesn't require concentration, and then it only lasts for 1 minute if you choose to do that. But that's a fair trade-off. Alright, that brings us to Wild Magic Sorcery. Another beloved subclass. On level 3, you get Wild Magic Surge. Once per turn, you can roll a d20 immediately after casting a sorcerer spell. If you roll a 20, roll on the Wild Magic Surge table to create a magical effect. If the magical effect is a spell, you can't use meta magic. And will they? They do have the table down there. I won't go through that, but I'll show it on screen so that if you want to pause and take a look at what's there, you can. Okay. It's nice that you get the autonomy from this, because before it relied on the DM, and it was just kind of eh. Alright. Let me adjust my chair. I'm sinking down. Alright. Tides of Chaos, also level 3. You can give yourself advantage on roll of a d20. Once you do so, you must cast a sorcerer's spell with the spell slot, or finish a long rest before you can use this again. If you do cast a sorcerer's spell with the spell slot before finishing a long rest, you automatically roll on the Wild Magic Surge table. This is really fun. Again, the autonomy is with the player on this. It's the only reason I've never played a Wild Magic Sorcerer, because it was up to the DM, and it's like, I just want to roll on the table as much as possible. So, heck yeah, I'll give myself advantage, and then roll, and then advantage, and then roll. Like, that's great. Love it. Awesome. And this is for free, I think. Yeah. Yeah, anytime you roll a d20, you can just give yourself advantage. That's great. That's awesome. I love it. All right. At level 6, after another creature you can see rolls a d20, you can use your reaction and spend a sorcery point to roll 1d4, and it's either a bonus or a penalty to that roll. I feel like it was 2d4 before, and it was a little bit different, but I'm okay with this because of the other changes. And at level 14, whenever you roll on the Wild Magic Surge table, roll twice and use either number. Great, simple, love it. And then finally, level 18, create immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell with the spell slot, create an effect of your choice from the Wild Magic Surge table instead of rolling. Wow. You can choose any effect in the table except for the final row, and if the chosen effect involves a roll, you must make it. That's cool. So you go from 1 roll to 2 rolls to choose whatever the heck you want, just not the last row. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. So here's the Wild Magic Surge table. This is going to be numbers 1 through 56 that you can look at clearly. And there's not 100 options on here anymore. I think that simplifies things a little bit. And then here's the other half of the table there. Alright, that's going to be it for the Sorcerer, and we'll be moving on to the Warlock next. Alright, let's get our thumbnail. Okay, that's good. I like that. Warlock. We're talking about the Warlock now. Woo! We're almost there. Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. Almost there. Level 1, we get Eldritch Invocations. And those invocations are at the end. So we will come back to those later. We also get Pact Magic at level 1. If you want me to do a video on spellcasting, let me know. It would be a separate video. I am just going to focus on the classes for now. So, again, let me know if you want me to cover the spells. Level 2, Magical Cunning. You can perform a rites that lasts 1 minute, or it takes 1 minute. At the end of it, you regain expended Pact Magic spell slots, no more than a number equal to half of your maximum. And once you use this feature, you can't do so again to finish the long rest. So you get more spell slots. That's nice. That's something that Warlocks have struggled with historically. Level 9, you can contact your patron. Again, something that was missing from Warlocks, so I appreciate this. Level 9, you can communicate directly. You always have Contact Other Plane prepared. And you can cast it without using a spell slot to contact your patron. That would be kind of dirty if your patron made you use a spell slot in order to contact them. That kind of sucks. But hey, that's how Warlock packs work. Or I guess they don't work that way, but I wouldn't be surprised. But it's nice that it doesn't work that way. And then, let's see. Once you automatically succeed on the spell saving throw, and you can do that once per long rest. At level 11, you can choose a level 6 Warlock spell. And you can expend the spell once without expending a spell slot. And you finish a long rest before you can do it again. And you gain another Warlock spell of your choice that can be cast in this way for level 7, 8, and 9. And you regain all your uses of Mystic Arcanum when you finish a long rest. Whenever you gain a Warlock level, you can replace one of your Arcanum spells with another Warlock spell of the same level. And then at level 19, you get an Epic Boon. I'll talk about those in a different video. Level 20, when you use Magical Cunning, you regain all of your expended Pact Magic spell slots. I appreciate that. So that is a good capstone. Just refresh the whole thing. I appreciate that. Alright. It's maybe not the best capstone, I'd say, for like every class. But I feel like for the Warlocks to have limited spell slots, it's good. I like it. Alright. Here are the invocations. Agonizing Blast. Choose one of your known Warlock cantrips that deals damage. You can add your Charisma modifier to that spell's damage rolls. And you can take that multiple times for different cantrips. Armor of Shadows. You can cast Mage Armor on yourself without expending a spell slot. Ascendant Step. You can cast Levitate on yourself without expending a spell slot. Devil's Sight. You can see normally in dim light and darkness. Thank you for the clarification, because it was just darkness before. Both magical and non-magical. Thank you. Within 120 feet of yourself. Devouring Blade. The extra attack of your Thirsting Blade confers 2 extra attacks rather than 1. So hey, Warlocks can get up to 3 attacks with this. That's nice. I really like that. That's great. Eldritch Mind. You have advantage on con saves to maintain your concentration. Cool. That's the same. Eldritch Smite. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with your packed weapon, you can expend a packed magic spell slot to deal an extra 1d8 force damage, plus 1d8 per level of the slot. And you can knock the target prone if it is huge or smaller. Wow, for free, no save on the prone. That is pretty great. That is huge. Eldritch Spear. Choose a cantrip that deals damage, has a range of 10 or more feet, and its range increases a number of feet equal to 30 times your Warlock level. Wow! So at level 10, that's 300 feet. At level 20, that's 600 feet. That is pretty crazy. Alright. You could really go all in on one cantrip. It all used to be Eldritch Blast, but now it can be any cantrip that you want, which I think is kind of cool. Fiendish Vigor. You can cast False Life on yourself without expending a spell slot. Excuse me. You don't roll the die. Instead, you just get the highest number for your temporary hit points, which is nice. That is a good buff. Gaze of Two Minds. Use a bonus action, touch a willing creature, and perceive through its senses until the end of your next turn. You can use a bonus action as long as you're on the same plane to maintain the connection. While perceiving through their senses, you benefit from any special senses that they have. So if the fighter has blind sight, cool, you have blind sight. That's great. And hold up, here's the buff. You can cast spells as if you were in your space or the other creature's space if the two of you are within 60 feet of each other. That is great. That actually makes me consider taking this invocation, which I would not take previously. Gift of the Depths. You can breathe underwater and you get a swim speed. You can also cast water breathing without expending a spell slot 1 time. And that's once per long rest. Gift of the Protectors. You write some names down in your book equal to or up to your charisma modifier. If someone's reduces 0 hit points but not killed outright and their name is in your book, they drop to 1 hit point instead, once per long rest. And as a magic action, you can erase a name. Investment of the Chain Master. When you cast Find Familiar, it gets additional benefits. It gets either a fly speed or a swim speed. You can use a bonus action to make it attack. When it deals bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage, it can instead deal necrotic or radiant. It uses your saving throw DC. And you can take a reaction to give it resistance to damage that it takes. Definite buffs here. Before, it had some of this, but not all of it. Lessons of the First Ones. Gain 1 origin feat That's nice. Hey, cool. If you just want to throw all the Warlock stuff out and just take more feats, great. This is the invocation for you. That's new, and I like it. Alright, Life Drinker. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with a pact weapon, deal 1d6 necrotic, psychic, or radiant damage. And you can expend one of your hit point dice to roll... hit point dice. I guess that's what they're calling hit dice now. Expend one of your hit point dice to regain a number of hit points equal to the roll, plus your constitution modifier. That's cool. I like that. You deal the extra damage, and then you heal using your hit dice, or hit point dice. I like it. Mask of Many Faces. Disguise Self without for free. You get it for free. You Master of Myriad Forms, Alter Self for free. Misty Vision, Silent Image for free. One with Shadows. When you're in dim light or darkness, you can cast Invisibility for free. Otherworldly Leap. You can cast Jump for free. Pact of the Blade, which was its own Pact of the Blade, Chain, Tome. Those were all separate before. And so was Pact of the Talisman, but I don't see that here. I don't think that was very widely accepted. So I'm not surprised that it's not here. As a bonus action, you can conjure a pact weapon in your hand, a simple or martial melee weapon. Can't do it if someone else is attuned to it. Can't bond with a magic weapon if someone else is attuned to it. Interesting. It doesn't say that it's a non-magical weapon, but I think that's the assumption, right? Hopefully, maybe. We'll see. Alright, you have proficiency with the weapon automatically. That's nice. And you can use it as a spellcasting focus. When you attack with the bonded weapon, use your charisma modifier instead of strength or dexterity. And it deals necrotic, psychic, or radiant damage, or its normal damage type. If you bond with a different weapon, it ends. Or if it's more than 5 feet away from you for 1 minute or more, that kind of sucks. I don't like that. Or if you die, that makes sense. Wow. So no more conjuring your pact weapon. Like, you conjure it the first time. Oh. I guess you can conjure the same one. Yeah. You conjure one that you have a bond with, or create a bond with a magic weapon that you touch. Gotcha. Okay, makes sense. So you have 1 minute if it's away from you to conjure it to yourself. Sucks if you're unconscious. Gotta rebond. Yeah, but it just takes a bonus action. I think it was like an hour or something before, so yeah. Pact of the Chain. You learn Find Familiar, and you get to cast it for free. And it chooses one of the normal forms or a special form, which this list has been increased. The skeleton was not on there, the tadpole was not on there, the sphinx was not on there, and the snake was not on there, if I'm remembering correctly. And additionally, when you take the attack action, you can have your familiar attack instead using its reaction. Pact of the Tome. You conjure a book at the end of a rest. Choose 3 cantrips and 2 level 1 spells with the ritual tag from any class's spell list. And they must be spells you don't already have prepared. You then have them prepared, and they function as Warlock spells for you, and the book can be used as a spellcasting focus. Nice, simple, nothing really to write home about there. Repelling Blast. Choose a Warlock cantrip with an attack roll. When you hit a large or smaller creature with that cantrip, you can push it 10 feet away from you. Thirsting Blade. You get extra attack for your packed weapon. You can attack twice instead of once. Visions of Distant Realms. You get Arcane Eye to cast for free. Whispers of the Grave. You can cast Speak with Dead for free. And Witch Sight, you gain True Sight to a range of 30 feet. I really appreciate that they removed the invocations that were like, you can cast this spell, but only once, and you have to use the spell slot. So, definite buffs overall, I'd say, to the invocations. This is the Warlock spell list. If you want me to make a video about spells, let me know, and I'll do it. It'll be a different video, but I'm not doing it now because there's so many spells. Alright, let's get into some patrons. The Archfey. You get Archfey spells. You can cast Misty Step for free a number of times equal to your Charisma modifier. Love that. And you get those back on a long rest. And when you do it, you get additional effects, even better. Let's see. You or one creature you can see within 10 feet gains 1d10 temporary hit points. Or creatures within 5 feet of the space you left must make a wisdom save or have disadvantage on attack rolls against creatures other than you. So you're kind of like taunting them. It's taunting step. You say, na-na, boo-boo, poof, and they will want to attack you, even though some people might be closer, but you are farther away. Level 6, Misty Escape. You can cast Misty Step as a reaction in response to taking damage. I like that. As a fan of Misty Step, I like it. And you get the following effects. You have the invisible condition until the start of your next turn, or until immediately after you make an attack roll, deal damage, or cast a spell. And then Dreadful Step. Creatures within 5 feet of the space you left or the space you appear in, your choice, must make a wisdom save or take 2d10 psychic damage. Good damage option. I like it. Alright. Level 10, you are immune to being charmed. Awesome. And immediately after a creature hits you with an attack roll, use a reaction to reduce the damage by half. That's nice. Just flat half damage reduction. And then they have to make a wisdom save. If they fail, they take psychic damage equal to the damage that you take. So you're basically giving them half the damage. Yeah, once you use this reaction, you get it back on a long rest. Unless you expend a spell slot to do it again. Definitely worth it, I would say. Bewitching Magic. Immediately after you cast an enchantment or illusion spell, using an action and a spell slot, you can cast Misty Step as a part of the same action without expending a spell slot. Man, this is like Misty Step Central. They reworked this entire thing, and I am here for it. Definite. Much more likely that I would play an Archfey Warlock now. Next is the Celestial Pact. You get your Celestial spells, and you get Healing Light. Number of d6s equal to 1 plus your Warlock level. As a bonus action, you heal someone within 60 feet. You can use a number of dice equal to your Charisma modifier. Restore HP equal to the dice's total. And they all come back on a long rest. Solid. I think that's about the same as what it was. Radiant Soul, you have resistance to radiant damage. And when you cast a spell that's radiant or fire, add your charisma modifier to the spell's damage against one of the spell's targets. Level 10, Celestial Resilience. You gain temporary HP when you use your magical cunning feature or finish a short or long rest. Equal to your Warlock level plus your charisma modifier. Almost did a wizard there. Additionally, choose up to 5 creatures. They also gain temporary HP equal to half of your Warlock level plus your charisma modifier. Hey! Spread the love. Level 14 is Searing Vengeance. I believe, yeah, that level 10 feature is new, and then this looks new as well. Whenever you are an ally within 60 feet is going to make a death save. The creature regains hit points equal to half of its HP maximum and can end the prone condition on itself. And then each creature of your choice within 30 feet of that creature takes radiant damage, 2d8 plus your charisma modifier, and they are blinded, no save. Blinded without save until the end of the current turn. And that comes back on a long rest. Huge buffs to the Celestial Warlock. I played one once before. The healing was nice, but these higher level features really, really have definite improvements. Next is the Fiend Patron, a classic Warlock pact. When you're reduced to 0 hit points at level 3, you gain temporary hit points equal to your charisma modifier plus your Warlock level. Oh, when you reduce an enemy to 0 hit points, not when you're reduced. Okay. You also gain this benefit if someone else reduces an enemy within 10 feet of you to 0 hit points. That's nice. I know that that caveat at the end is new, and I appreciate it. You get some Fiend spells. Nice that they get Fireball here. At level 6, you get Dark One's Own Luck. When you make an ability check or a saving throw, add 1d10. You can do so after seeing the roll, but before you know if it succeeds or fails. And you can do that a number of times equal to your charisma modifier, but no more than once per roll. And they come back on a long rest. That's nice. I think there's some small buffs there. Fiendish Resilience. Choose one damage type other than force when you finish a short or long rest, and you get resistance until you choose a different one with this feature. And level 14. That's nice, by the way. I feel like it was just like fire damage before or something. But Hurl Through Hell is the level 14 feature. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can try to instantly transport the target through the lower planes. They make a charisma save. They take 8d10 psychic damage if it isn't a fiend. They're incapacitated until the end of your next turn. And then it returns. You can do so once per long rest. And you can do it again with Pact Magic. That is nice. I like it. Takes them out of combat for a while, deals some damage, and you can do it again. Some good, solid buffs there. And nothing too crazy, just minor stuff, but good minor stuff. The Great Old One Patron is, I believe, the last one for the Warlock. You get the Awakened Mind. As bonus action, choose a creature within 30 feet. You can communicate with each other telepathically, as long as you're within a number of miles equal to your charisma modifier, and you have to use the same language. Lasts a number of minutes equal to your Warlock level, and only one creature at a time. You get Great Old One spells. Here they are. Level 3 Psychic Spells. When you cast a Warlock spell that deals damage, you can change its type to Psychic. I like that. In addition, when you cast a Warlock spell that is an enchantment or an illusion spell, you can do so without verbal or somatic components. Hey! Nice. Like that as well. Solid buff. And that's a big buff. The Grey Old One did not get anything like that before. Level 6. When you do your telepathic bond, using Awakened Mind, you can force that creature to make a wisdom save. On a failed save, the creature has disadvantage against you, and you have advantage against the creature. Wow. So you can use your telepathy offensively. I like that a lot. I could see like a Great Old One plus a Sorcerer Aberrant Mind subclass being a cool sort of psychic spellcaster. Or you could go into the fighter or the rogue psychic subclasses as well. This is the first time that I've really felt like, oh man, like yeah, here are some great multi-class options. But we'll see. It's definitely more costly now that all the subclasses come at level 3. This feature comes back on short or long rest, or you can use Pact Magic to do it again. At level 10, you always have Hex prepared. And they also have disadvantage on saving throws, which is what I think a lot of new players think Hex does. But you actually get it as a Great Old One. That's great. At level 10, your thoughts can't be read unless you allow it. You have resistance to psychic damage. And whenever a creature deals psychic damage, they take the same amount of damage that you take. So you take half the damage and you give it to them. That's nice. I like it. All right. Finally, level 14, create Thrall. You can, when you cast Summon Aberration, you can make it so it doesn't require concentration. If you do so, it becomes 1 minute that it lasts. And it gains temporary hit points equal to your Warlock level plus your Charisma modifier. And each turn the Aberration hits a creature under the effect of your Hex, the Aberration deals extra psychic damage to the target equal to the bonus damage of that spell. I feel like other similar features would give this spell for free, but this doesn't say that it does. So it's kind of just assuming that you... Oh, is it... Yeah, okay. It's on the list. Alright, you do get it for free, I believe. Yeah, you always have certain spells ready. They're always prepared. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's going to be it for the Warlock. Really solid buffs across the board. I can't complain about any of it, really. So, next up, and finally, we'll be looking at the Wizard. I hope that worked. I can't tell. But, oh, wow. It definitely did something to my eyes. That's the last thumbnail I have to do, so that's good. Let's look at the Wizard. We finally made it to the last class of the 2024 Player's Handbook. I will have other videos coming out, but this will be the last class that comes out. If you want to look at all the spellcasting, you want me to cover all the spellcasting in a video, let me know, but I'm not going to cover it here. Alright, Ritual Adept. You can cast any spell as a ritual if that spell has the ritual tag and it's in your spellbook. You don't need to have the spell prepared, but you must read from the book to cast a spell in this way. This isn't something that received text in 2014 in its own sort of feature line, but it kind of got lost into the other stuff. It's nice that it's explicitly mentioned here. Level 1, you get Arcane Recovery. When you finish a short rest, you can choose to recover some spell slots up to a combined level equal to no more than half of your wizard level. And none of them can be 6th level or higher. That's fine. And once you use this feature, it comes back on a long rest. At level 2, you get expertise in, looks like an intelligence skill or medicine, which I believe is still a wisdom skill, but now I'm doubting myself. Yeah, okay, wisdom. Cool. At level 5, you can memorize spell. Whenever you finish a short rest, you can study your spell book and replace one of your leveled wizard spells for with another leveled spell from the book. Nice. And then we jump up to level 18 for spell mastery. Choose a level 1 and level 2 spell in your spell book that have a casting time of an action. They're always prepared. And you can cast them at their lowest level without expending a spell slot. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can replace one of those spells with a different spell of the same level. That's nice. Little bit of a nerf because it has to require an action. Typically, I would use my level 2 to get Misty Step and just like have a bunch of Misty Steps. And then level 1, I would use Silvery Barbs, but that's a reaction, and Misty Step is a bonus action, so can't do that anymore, unfortunately, but still good. And you get to swap them out, which is nice. Epic boons are granted by every class. I'll have something covering that in a later video. And level 20, you get more signature spells. Choose 2 level 3 spells in your spell book. They're always prepared, and you can cast them once at level 3 without expending a spell slot. And you can do that once per short or long rest. Nice, simple, easy. Here's the wizard spell list. Like I said, I will cover spells in a different video. And if you want to see that, let me know. Otherwise, I'm not going to go through all of this because that's a lot of text, especially for wizards. That's so much, so many spells. All right. The Abjurer is the first wizard we're going to look at. You can choose 2 wizard spells from the Abjuration School of level 1 or 2. And add them to your spellbook. Oh, I guess they could also be cantrips. I guess, technically. No higher than level 2. In addition, whenever you gain access to a new level of spell slots in this class, you can add 1 wizard spell from the Abjuration School to your spellbook for free. And must be for a level for which you have spell slots. And then level 3, you get Arcane Ward. When you cast an Abjuration spell, you create a magical ward that lasts until you finish a long rest. The ward has HP equal to twice your wizard level plus your intelligence modifier. And when you take damage, the ward takes the damage instead. And your resistances and vulnerabilities apply before the ward takes the damage. If the damage reduces the ward to 0 hit points, you take any remaining damage. While the ward has 0 hit points, it can't absorb damage, but its magic is still there. Whenever you cast an Abjuration spell with a spell slot, the ward regains a number of hit points equal to twice the level of the spell slot. Or as a bonus action, you can expend a spell slot, and the ward regains a number of hit points equal to twice the level of that spell slot. Once you create the ward, you can't do it again until you finish a long rest. When a creature at level 6 that you can see within 30 feet of you takes damage, you can take a reaction Cause your arcane ward to absorb that damage for someone else. If the ward is at 0 HP, the warded creature takes any remaining damage. And the resistances and vulnerabilities apply before the ward's hit points. At level 10, you always have Counterspell and Dispel Magic prepared. And you can do Dispel Magic as a bonus action and add your proficiency bonus to its ability check, but not for Counterspell, apparently. That was taken out. When you cast either spell with a spell slot, the slot isn't expended if the spell fails to stop a spell. That is nice. I do appreciate that. And I do believe Counterspell has some more restrictions on it now. Let me look and see. It is a reaction. Con save. Spell fails. Oh, right, because you don't add your proficiency to this anymore. Or you aren't rolling, they're rolling a con save. So that makes sense why it was only Dispel Magic. Alright, but this is still a pretty strong spell. In Pathfinder, I know that you have to have the spell prepared. Or in some cases, a spell that can actually counter it. But Counterspell is still pretty good, I would say. It did get nerfed a little bit by not being able to add your proficiency bonus from the Abjurer. And finally, at level 14, you have advantage on saving throws against spells and resistance to the damage of spells. I would definitely play an Abjurer. That seems fun. Diviner, a beloved subclass. Level 3, we get Divination Savant. You get 2 wizard spells from Divination School. Same thing as the Abjurer. You add them to your spellbook for free. They're level 2 or lower. And when you get new levels of spell slots, you add another divination spell to your spellbook for free. Those are definite buffs compared to the 2014 spellbook, which or Player's Handbook, which made it just easier and cheaper to copy those types of spells into your spellbook. Level 3, you get Portent as well. Roll 2 d20s per long rest, record the numbers, and replace any d20 roll by a creature that you can see with one of those rolls. You have to do so before the roll, so you can't say, oh, you got a nat 20, I'm changing that. You have to do it before the roll, so that's a definite nerf to the Portent, which, to be fair, is fair. Portent was very strong. Each foretelling roll can only be used once. And when you finish a long rest, any unused ones are lost. Level 6, when you cast a divination spell using a level 2 or higher spell slot, you regain 1 spell slot. Must be of a level lower than the slot that you expended and can't be higher than level 5. I think that's nerfed just slightly, I think, with that cap. Level 10, the Third Eye. As a bonus action, choose one of the following benefits, which lasts until you start a short or a long rest. And then you can't use this feature again until you finish a short or a long rest. You either gain dark vision, you can read any language, or you can see invisibility. I can't remember if those came from the Transmutation Wizard or if they were always a part of the Divination Wizard. We'll see. At level 14, we get the Greater Portent. We roll 3 d20s rather than 2. That's the same. Alright, the Evoker, another beloved spell class, subclass. Oh my gosh, I'm losing it here towards the end. Alright, 2 to go. Choose 2 wizard spells from the Evocation School that are lower than level 2 or lower. You get them for free, and then every time you level up your spell slots, you get another Evocation spell. When you cast a cantrip and you miss with the attack roll, or they succeed on the saving throw, they still take half damage, but no other effect. That is cool. I like that. I think before it just dealt extra damage. I do like that it still does something even if it does not succeed. Level 6, you get to sculpt spells. When you cast an evocation spell that affects other creatures that you can see, choose a number of them equal to 1 plus the spell's level. They automatically succeed on their saving throw and take no damage if they would normally take half damage on a successful save. Same thing as the Sorcerer Careful spell. They just a straight buff because they take no damage now. That is very nice. So if you cast Fireball, you can save 4 people who would get caught in the blast otherwise. Level 10 is the Empowered Evocation. Whenever you cast a wizard spell from the Evocation School, you can add your intelligence modifier to 1 damage roll of that spell. Classic, nice, helpful. At level 14, you can Overchannel. When you cast a wizard spell with a spell slot of levels 1 to 5 that deals damage, you deal max damage on the turn that you cast it. First time you do this, you suffer no adverse effects, and you can do so once per long rest. But if you use it again for taking a long rest, you take 2d12 necrotic damage for each level of the spell slot immediately after you cast it, and that damage ignores resistance and immunity. Each time you use this feature before finishing a long rest, the necrotic damage per level increases by 1d12. Wow, that's crazy. But I'm glad that they added that text. Kind of nerfing just slightly. I feel like now there's a higher risk involved with Overchannel that I think adds a little more, even though it's technically a nerf. Finally, the last subclass that we're going to cover is the Illusionist Wizard. At level 3, we get Illusion Savant. You get 2 illusion spells that are no higher than level 2 for free. And when you get higher spell slots, you get another illusion spell for free. At level 3, you also get Improved Illusions. You can cast illusion spells without verbal components. Thank you. Hard to cast an illusion convincingly if you are literally chanting in front of someone. And if an illusion spell you cast has a range of 10 plus feet, the range increases to 60 feet. You automatically know Minor Illusion. If you already know it, you get a different wizard cantrip. Thank you. It doesn't count against your number of cantrips known. You can create both a sound and an image, and you can cast it as a bonus action. So many buffs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Level 6, Phantasmal Creatures. You get Summon Beast and Summon Fae for free. And whenever you cast either spell, you cast it as an illusion. And you can cast the illusion without expending a spell slot, but it has half of its HP. Once you cast either spell without a spell slot, you have to take a long rest before you can cast that spell in that way again. So you get a free illusion casting of each of them. That's cool. Almost there. Level 10, you get Illusory Self. When a creature hits you with an attack roll, you can use your reaction to interpose a duplicate of yourself. The attack automatically misses and the illusion dissipates. You can't use this feature again until you finish a short or long rest, but you can use it again by using a level 2 or higher spell slot. I really like that. I like that addition. I love the extra uses. Definitely encourages me to play this subclass. And then finally, level 14, Illusory Reality. You have learned to weave shadow magic into your illusions and give them a semi-reality. When you cast an illusion spell with a spell slot, you can choose one inanimate, non-magical object that is part of the illusion to make the object real. You can do this on your turn as a bonus action while the spell is ongoing. The object remains real for 1 minute, during which it can't deal damage or give any conditions. For example, you can create an illusion of a bridge over a chasm and then make it real and cross it. Very, very helpful. And that brings us to the end of the wizard. I believe that last feature was pretty much the same as it was in 2014. But overall, I think the level 3 buffs are fantastic. Level 10 buff, solid. Level 6, I appreciate the free spells. Thank you, and good night. That has been my coverage of the wizard and all of the other spell classes. Oh my gosh. All the other classes in D&D. You can tell that I'm tired. So, I will have some more videos coming out. If you want to hear more from the Player's Handbook and from the Monsters Manual and Dungeon Master's Guide when they come out, feel free to subscribe so that you can get notified of everything that we're doing here on the channel. So, thank you so much for watching. We got some more videos for you right here.